So now we're going to work on the emoji picker. So the first thing is opening the terminal, make sure that you are in front end, and then install it. So it's going to be emoji picker React. So it's a package that's going to help us work with emojis. Okay, it's quite a bit tricky sometimes, but I'm going to explain everything when we do it. Okay, so let me just wait. Now it's installed. Let me just import it. It's going to be picker from, as you see right here, emoji picker React, like this. Okay, and simply if you want to show it, you can just go to this div and just call it, okay, picker, and here it is. Okay, but actually we don't want it like that, so we're gonna also want to control it where it's gonna be. Okay, we're gonna open it with another icon, which is gonna be this one that's gonna use to open it and close it. And also we're gonna work on, you click on something, I'm going to add it to this text, and you can play with the values or we're going to show it. Okay, so let me just add this a state that's going to control the visibility of the picker. So this is going to be picker. Okay, and this one is going to be set picker, like this. Okay, and when this is only going to be shown when picker is true. Okay, when picker is true, then it's going to be shown. So in the beginning it's not going to be shown. Okay, sorry. So now let me add a few things to this. We're gonna work on this and this, and then let me work on the rest. Okay, so first of all, let me just go to the image and then go 3 times up, and then let me go to icons, and then we're gonna go to color font.png so we can see that. Okay, we're seeing it, that's fine. And then after this also we're gonna have an icon. Let me see the name of the icon. It's gonna be emoji icon large. Okay, and now we have all the things that we're going to need. So first of all, let me go to the size and work in them. So now it's going to look, and then click continue. Okay, so the first thing is going to be post emojis wrap. Okay, let me make sure that is the right name. Let me just, what is it in the index? Let me get that name, like this. Okay, to make sure that is right. So position is going to be relative, and then display flex, and then the align items, okay, is going to be flex end, like this. Okay, so it's going to be in the end, and then also justify content is going to be space between. So again, space them, one to the right and one to the left. Okay, so that's the first thing. And also I'm going to have a padding of 10 pixels from top and bottom, and 15 from right and left. Okay, and then we're going to go to the post image wrap itself, and then the image, okay, which is this one. So the width of it is going to be 39 pixels. Okay, and also an add cursor pointer. Okay, so now things are looking way better. Okay, so also the other thing that we're going to move is simply this one. As you see, this icon right here, when I hover on it, it's going to change the color of it. Okay, so this is inside the post image wrap. Okay, and it's going to be in the eye, which is the icon. When we hover on it, we want to make sure when we filter, add the filter to it. So the filter is going to be simply invert. I've talked about this before, and make it like 8%, 80%. So now, as you see, it changes the color to 80%. Okay, so it's reverse the color, which is now going to the white. Now I'm gonna make it go to right. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let me also show it. So let's go show the picker, so we can position it right. So we're gonna make this true. So now you can see it. So let's make it go to the right place that we want. Okay, so it's called comment emoji picker. And then right here, we're gonna just first of all, position it absolute, because we don't want it there. Okay, so now it's gonna go back to the normal state, and then we're gonna make it right 0, and then from the bottom is gonna be 2.5 RAM, like this. Okay, so it's gonna be positioned just a bit, after that. Okay, so that's the first thing, but also I'm gonna move it a bit. So I'll move, and we're gonna make the right -7. Okay, why we didn't just do it right here? Why we just do it right here directly? Because this div is going to be reusable. Okay, so we're going to use it in other places that needs the emojis, and this div is going to position it depending for this one exactly. Okay, so that's all of it. So now we have the emojis in the right place. Okay, so also let me just make it false. So we use this icon, which is this one, to open it and close it. Okay, so we're going to add an on click to it. Okay, and then simply right here, which is gonna set picker, and then we're gonna get the previous value, and then simply change it to the opposite. Okay, so we're gonna set the picker. If it was true, make it false. If it's false, it's make it true. Okay, we've done this before, just to make this changeable. So now it opens it, and also now it's gonna be true. So when we click it, it's gonna make it false. Okay, So like you can toggle between them. Okay, so this is what you wanted to do. So that's the first thing. So now we're gonna work exactly on clicking right here simply, and then adding it right here, and the placement and all of the others. So the first thing I want to do is add a reference to this text area. So let me create this reference. So const, let's call it text ref. Okay, and it's gonna be use ref, and then we're gonna have null right here. Okay, and we're gonna take the text ref and reference it for the text area. Okay, so simply this element right here reference this text area. Okay, and now in this picker it has a function that's implemented in the picker, which is gonna be on emoji click. That means when you click on a certain emoji, this is what we're gonna do. It's simply gonna be called handle emoji, and we're gonna create this function. So we're gonna go up here. So const handle emoji, and simply it's gonna be an arrow function, and we're gonna need to get the emoji itself. Okay, so now we have the emoji, and now we're gonna do our test. So simply, first of all, let me just define like the reference. Okay, so const reference, let me just write this again, const reference, which is going to be simply the text ref dot current, so we can access the reference itself. Okay, and then we're going to go ref dot focus. So now we're going to focus when we click on it. So now when we click on here, only one thing is going to happen is that we're going to focus on this element as it's going to look selected, and we're going to have it like this. Okay, so let me just go out of it and now click something, and as you see, now we have the cursor right there, because we're going to need the cursor. Simply, let me just close this. Like when we have like certain text like welcome, okay, we want to get the position of the cursor, for example, right here. So all we're gonna do is just get the start before the cursor, okay, this text, and the text after the cursor, okay, and the emoji that we're gonna add, like for example right here we're gonna have a certain emoji. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna define like the start, and then define the end, and then in between them we're gonna add the emoji that we want. Okay, this is simply what I'm trying to do. So if we go back right here, we're gonna define the start at the end. So const start, which is simply gonna go to the text itself. That's because any text that we add right here is gonna be in the state. So we're gonna go there and then substring. That means we're gonna cut from this text from a certain point to a certain point. So this start simply is gonna always start from 0. Okay, this always gonna start from 0. Let's like at this right here. So the cursor is between C and O. It's always gonna start in 0 and it's gonna end in this. And this is simply how we get it. This we just simply get the position of the cursor. Okay, that ends there. So this is simply gonna go from 0 and then gonna go to the reference dot selection start like this. So simply now we got the start, and then we're gonna get the end. So let me first fix this. This is gonna be selection start, okay, like this. And now let's go to the end, which is end, and it's gonna be simply the same way, text dot substring. Okay, now we're just gonna get the position of the cursor at the end. Okay, so it's gonna be simply reference, okay, dot selection start. Okay, now we get the position of the cursor from 0 then, and then just to toward the end. Okay, so now we're gonna know, for example, if the cursor was right here, this WALC, it's gonna be the start, and the end is gonna be OME. Okay, so that's the first thing. So simply now I'm gonna add like a new text, which is gonna be a temporary, and this is always just gonna be the composition of us. It's gonna be the start plus the emoji plus the end. Okay, so if the cursor is right here, then the emoji is gonna be between them. If the cursor in the end, that's gonna mean that the start at the end are all at the end of the cursor, you know, the end of the text, and then simply is gonna add the emoji right there. Okay, so now we're gonna set the text right here to change the value of the text that we see right here, or just simply the new text like this. So now let's try again. If it's at the end and we added something, it gets it undefined. Okay, that's simply because we didn't get, where is it, right here, we didn't get the events. Okay, because the emoji that's going to be accessible by the event.target.name, so that's why we need to pass it, not for us but the function itself, you know, the emoji, it's needed for us for the pickup. So now let's try again, and now let's add it, and you see everything is fine. Now let's try and do it somewhere in here. Okay, so now let's try and add this emoji. Okay, and as you see, it's been added. Okay, but the problem, as you see right here, the cursor goes then at the end. So for example, let me show you again. For example, I'm right here between W and E, and I've added something there. Okay, let me just specifically choose that like this, and I see the cursor now changes and goes back to the end. So now I like have a function that's gonna, you know, pursue or follow the cursor and leave it there. So let me show you the brilliant way that we're gonna do it with. Okay, So we have a state which is just gonna save the cursor position on it. So it's cursor position, okay, and then it's gonna be use state, and the beginning is gonna be nothing. Okay, so what I'm doing right here is, let's see that we have a text. Okay, if the cursor right here, we're gonna register that, you know, cursor in which, you know, string. So for example, at the beginning, this is like 0, this is 1 2 3 4. So if the cursor was right here, so the cursor position state here is gonna be 4. Okay, and what we're gonna do is gonna have a function or a use effect, because there's a function that runs every time we want it. So we can take that right here, okay, and it's gonna run every time the cursor position change. And all it does is guys go to the text ref and then simply access the current value of it, so the elements itself, and then set the selection and the cursor itself, and it's gonna be the cursor position we have in the state. So simply this use effect, all it does, if we change the, let me go and show you. So if we simply go right here and change this like to 2, this function is gonna run and it's gonna go to the text ref and then position it in the cursor 2. So we'll make sure that it's right and it's changeable when we click on a certain emoji. So let me just show you, for example. Okay, so as you see now, the cursor is here, wherever. If we go right here to the state, for example, let me give you the value like 3 and save, you know. Oh, this is gonna be, when we save, it's gonna refresh. Let me just save right now. That's gonna create a problem, but the cursor is simply gonna position to a certain element we want. Okay, if we change it, it changes right here. Okay, but when we add like something in the emoji, also we need to change it there. So I know you couldn't see it because when you save it refreshes, but let me just show you what we're gonna do right here. Okay, so we're gonna set the cursor position, okay, and we're gonna take this start that we have dot length, okay, and then simply we're gonna plus that or add it to the emoji dot length. And this is simply what we've done. So for example, if we go right here, so simply it's gonna go to the start and get the number of it. So that means how many items the cursor is gonna jump. So it's gonna be the same position that it was, and also it adds the length of the emojis. So for example, if you had 2 emojis like 1 2, that means the cursor position is now gonna go 2. That means it's gonna stay here. So all we've done right here is just to make sure that this state of the cursor right here, it's saved in this state. So now when we add something, it's gonna stay there. Okay, so let me go back here. Now after 12, let me add this. So it's there, but the cursor now it moves there. Okay, that means we did something wrong, because the use state is gonna be null. Okay, in the beginning, and also me selection and okay, the cursor position. And you see what's the problem right here? Okay, because the dependency should be like an array. Okay, I was stupid. So to make sure it's a dependency, you just don't pass it. You pass it in the dependency array. Okay, so let me try again. So let's write like something 2 3 4 5, and then we're gonna go, for example, to 3, between 3 and 4. Okay, so between 3 and 4 I want to add an emoji. So now I added this, and look at the cursor position. It didn't go at the end, but it's actually been saved in the state, and we make it there. Okay, that's very important, because something you want to add like very many emojis at that place specifically. Okay, so that was like not that hard exactly, but it was like a bit of a, you know, an educational way to understand how to work like with this cursor position. And I'm sure this is something new for you, and I hope you enjoyed this and learned something new on working with the you know, with the text. So for example, let me just show you, hi again my friends. Okay, and then you want to add an emoji, and then anything, you can go back like here, hey, and have, I don't know, something I get like this. Okay, and as you see, everything is fine there. Okay, and you can hide this, and the text is gonna be same. So in the text right here, in the end, we're gonna have this whole value. So for example, we went right here, console log text, and then open the console, and as you see, let me just maximize this. Okay, let me just write something right here, and as you see, the text changes. Let me add something in this emojis. Let me add something, and as you see, it's been added to the state. Let me see what error we have right here. Did you mean max length? Okay, that means that we have a problem in the right here. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. Okay, this one. It's gonna be max length. Okay, let me now refresh this and see if we can have this problem. Okay, now we don't have it, so everything is fine right here, even if we add something. Okay, so everything is fine. Okay, so see you next.